I didn't have a clue what I wanted to be, but I did have an interest in science.
When I was a little girl, I thought maybe I'd be a ballerina. I thought maybe I would be some kind of a Forest Service person that worked in the woods. I thought maybe I'd be a ski racer, but I always loved science.
It wasn't that I was born knowing that I wanted to be a scientist, would always be a scientist. The notion that every child has to know exactly what they're going to do, I don't think is true.
I could never possibly have imagined that I would become a research scientist and professor at a major American university.
I work on stem cells, and I've always been interested in how cells adopt a certain fate. I want to make a difference in how people can use those cells and understand them at a fundamental level.
As a brain scientist, what I do is I'm interested in how our brains change with learning and experience. Kids' brains are kind of like sponges, and ours as adults are not like sponges anymore.
When I was in 6th grade, I found a skull up in the hills. Then I went to the medical library, digging out all this information on how to determine what animal it was based on a couple of teeth. It turned out to be a red deer doe. I must admit I was pleased it wasn't just a cow, but it might have been a cow.
My first memorable science experiment was in high school. I did an experiment studying a plant hormone called auxin. If you gave it to plants, it made them grow like mad. And so I thought, I'm going to get a bunch of sweet peas and grow them in a little box, and I'm going to give half of them auxin, and I'm going to give half of them control vehicle solution that is just water. The result of my experiment was that I killed all of the plants. Every plant died, including the control plants. I did not get an A. I don't remember exactly how we met.
Do you remember?
Do you remember? We got here the same year, like in 1978. So, you know, this is 30 years.
We met right away when we became professors.
We were the first, in a way, at the med school. We were the first on the tenure track.
Basic science
tenure track.
We were hired on affirmative action.
Yeah.
They hired
It's true, they might
a
not
couple
have
of women.
hired
No, I know
anyone
they
that
gave
year,
$25,000 to each department that hired a woman.
We got dowries.
That's right, we didn't know it at the time. But
So, you know, when we came, I think in many ways we were viewed in the most positive way by our colleagues as experiments.
I think it was an experiment. People were watching to see how we did. What I decided was that the way to succeed was not to do things the way everyone else did. I didn't want to compete on the obvious questions, but rather to think in an untraditional way.
I think it's more typical for us to choose not to go right into the center of the competitive fray. I think we were very happy to take other approaches and look and start to do other experiments. And it's certainly true, I mean, we never would have found these HLA genes in the brain if we'd been working in a more, you know, more of the mainstream.
If I was doing this career, I wasn't doing it just to do what someone else could do. I wanted to try and make a difference in how people thought, challenge dogma, and I think that's been the hallmark of the kinds of experiments I've done. I still remember my first grant from NIH on cell fusion and reprogramming of cells. The study section wrote, "This is highly unlikely to work. However, we'll give Dr. Blau a chance because it looks extremely interesting and she'll learn something worthwhile." But it gave me the chance to do the whole work which I built my career on, plasticity of cell fate.
Right, and now it's coming back in such a wonderful way too. Even the early days of your experiments are becoming increasingly relevant again. It's really exciting.
That's
and the mystery of the unknown, whether it's about regeneration or whether it's about how the brain works or learns, it's a huge mystery. So there's a kind
between immunology and the brain, which you're pioneering in a huge way.
Thanks. Helen and I are really like, you know, the yin and the yang of life and the career of a woman scientist. Helen had, in fact, had to face the challenge of having both a career and family to raise. And I waited too long, so my challenge was to have a career and also not have a family.
That's an interesting way to put it, Carla. Instead of saying having a family is a burden and a draw away from one's work, I mean, life is. Not having a family is equally.
Yeah, and they're just different paths,
That's very
right?
interesting. Yeah, I think that women are often feeling that it's much too big a sacrifice and too hard to go on, and they look at us and what we've done, and instead of thinking I want to be her, they often don't. They think it's much too hard.
The melding of career and family is still extremely challenging.
From time to time I've wondered what I should be doing, and I've entertained alternatives, but I'm never as excited as when I do an experiment.
The thing that's sort of wonderful about being a scientist is that the answers, even when you get an answer, a very satisfying answer, the next question pops up. It's like a great book that you just never want to end.
I am completely turned on by the experiments and thinking about the next step, and I feel like the Sherlock Holmes trying to solve the problem.
And the fun thing is you not only get to try to answer those questions, but you train your students, so there's a kind of legacy which is also quite marvelous. Both of us have continued to work and enjoy our work and thrive, and frankly, in many ways, I know for me, it's been a wonderful kind of haven.
I never expected that I would do it, actually. Because there were so few role models, I didn't think it was feasible. They took a big risk on us. They might not have hired us. They gave us a chance. And they were not at all sure we would succeed.
Right.
But they took the risk because it was incremental.
I mean, Stanford should be really proud.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
And we're grateful, and they should be proud.
I agree. Yeah.
The preceding program is copyrighted by the Board of Trustees of the Leland Stanford Junior University. Please visit us at med.stanford.edu.